Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the fourth round of the I2I Truck Series Championship here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. We're under the lights on this short track, just a 0.68 mile racetrack here tonight. A very short racetrack, as you can see, and it's going to be a very, very difficult one as well. Glad to be with you for the first time this season. Myself, Ian O'Leary, alongside Hamish Monroe here tonight. Good to be back alongside you, Hamish, for this series. Truck Series racing it is as well this season. We've got 25 drivers out there who we think are going to have a rather difficult evening, to be honest, around this pretty short racetrack, but more importantly, very flat and pretty difficult racetrack all in all.
Yeah, Ewan, first of all, welcome back. It's been obviously a great time for me and Jim here over the first three rounds, but it's good to have you back here in I2I. I think tonight, IRP, I mean, we spoke about it pre-race, tyre wear is going to be a massive factor tonight, but the other factor, of course, which has been showcased across the first three rounds, is the spatial awareness, or sometimes their lack of, and how that's going to affect these drivers tonight around here at IRP. I mean, it's a short track, there isn't not much room for error. I suppose the benefit is they're not as nearly at high speed as what they have been over the past few weeks at Texas and at Talladega. So I doubt we're going to see anyone risking a rollover, but we could see a car park occurring into one of the four corners here at IRP. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Strategy will be interesting too. I mean, said tyre wear's poor. We don't know if drivers will make it to the end of the race without changing tyres. So that may force a pit stop, opposed to having obviously a no-stop affair with a heap of cautions. But it's going to be interesting, and it's a circuit and a race type that I don't know how many of these drivers actually have experience in, because it's obviously a much different race type, and it's a much different track type, and you got to bring a different mentality to it comparatively to the speedways and the super speedways that we've been to previously. So I'm intrigued and I'm interested. Obviously we'll see how it goes tonight, but I mean, can we even put a prediction in, Ewan? We haven't got much in terms of the
Success?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't got much to go for short tracks. So
yes.
We'll see how it runs though.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a bit of an outlier, isn't it, in the early part of the season? I mean, next week we sort of return to the more wide-open ovals at Vegas, so it doesn't exactly continue on like this. We do go to North Wilkesboro and Bristol before the end of the year, before Christmas. But, yeah, it's not really a season with too many short tracks on it. After that, we've got Martinsville for the penultimate round. That's pretty much it. So we don't have too much in the way of these types of races. So maybe we're just dipping our toe really into this a little bit. Obviously for the season after this, I do wonder what Trey's going to put on the calendar, and maybe some of these short tracks. To be fair, we didn't have many short tracks from what I remember in the Xfinity Championship either. So just dipping our toe into it a little bit, with less than a third of the races being taken on short tracks here this season. And so I think a marker of how tonight is going to go, and admins will learn quite a lot about this field and indeed what we're going to put in series calendars in the future, I think, because we haven't seen too many short tracks so far. If this goes well, then maybe next season we'll see a few more of them, because these days in NASCAR racing in the real world, road courses and short tracks are in demand, and they're ever growing. So I think this is a bit of a feeler really to see how our future calendar might look, maybe.
Do we think we may see an appearance from Martinsville next season, Ewan? Could we possibly have our fingers crossed on that, do we reckon? Like, it would really be, how would they go at Martinsville?
I think it would be it depends on the trucks really. I did two races at Martinsville last week. Well, it was the circuit to be at, wasn't it? Because it's the penultimate round of the Cup Series in real life, which obviously is at Martinsville as well. One race in the next gen cars, and then I did one in the Gen 5s. I think that's right. The sort of mid 2010, no, Gen 6, sorry, Gen 6 cars, and the Gen 6 cars were a lot better than the next gen cars, because they're just a bit more stable and they raced a bit better, and there were less incidents as a result. It just depends which side of the coin the trucks really fall on, I think, as far as how it's going to go this season. And depends again what cars we use in the next season. But, it's so synonymous in recent times anyway with the penultimate round of the Cup Series and Xfinity Series championships in the real world that I do suspect that they may be inclined to bring it for next season as well. Is that something you'd enjoy, a penultimate round at Martinsville? That's what we've got later on this season anyway.
I would say so. I think if they're going to run playoffs next season in the Xfinity and the Cup Series, maybe even the Truck Series as well, who knows, I think you've got to have, if let's say you run 3 races in your playoffs, I think you got to have one track of every type. You got to have a speedway / super speedway, a road course, and then a short track too. So everyone who finishes inside of the top 10, if they have a different race style preference, they have something and they have a race where they can do well. And then they've got to try and focus and get to that race. So you might do the short track the first week, the road course the second week, and then obviously the super speedway / speedway in the last round. Or obviously flip the road course and the short track. So that actually then puts a little bit of focus on. You've actually got to strategize and get to your preferred race type so you can try and get to then the next stage of the playoffs. So I'm not against having a short track amongst those playoffs. Maybe you then run a 4-round playoff situation and you throw in 2 of the speedways or super speedways. So I think it would be an interesting concept.
Yeah, we'll see what the format's going to be next season. Of course, it could be a much longer season coming up next time. I mean, it was only 11 championship races, 1 non-championship race last season in the Xfinity cars, for example. As qualifying is just underway at the moment, and a couple of laps actually completed by most of the drivers. Jesse James is currently coming forward to complete lap number 1 there in the 10 car. We've still got a couple of drivers, including some playoff drivers from the Xfinity Series, like Charles Rinker and Robert Stevens, to have set times yet. They haven't quite finished, but they will get out there in a moment and do just that. Jesse James moves up to 13th as Johnny Suggs III goes to the top 10 with the second lap time of the session. Out of 2 comes Jesse James into 3 and 4. Very flat round here, as I mentioned, just 12 degrees of banking on this venue. As James comes up towards the line, second lap always going to be the better one. Is it anywhere near pole? It is still coming through. No, it's no faster, in fact. And so he will start from outside of the top 10 tonight. Johnny Suggs III are the only one left out there on the circuit with just over 2 minutes to go. And by the way, as you talked about with predictions, I feel like I don't really want to make one anymore. After I predicted Mike Rinker would win the championship, and about 5 weeks later we did, I don't think it's going to peak any more for me than that. So I do feel like protecting my 100% record by fence sitting for this race, to be honest with you. I want to keep that record intact.
I was wondering how long it would take you, Ewan, to mention it, and it didn't take you very long.
10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes, really.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? It's one of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, it's a 1 in 30 chance. It's a very rare occurrence that you can actually pick someone winning a championship. So, yeah, I suppose, take it as you get it. And, that's what I would say. Just, take the fact that you did actually pick it correctly.
I'm taking that win, absolutely. Braden Craycraft and Robert Stevens, by the way, make their way out onto the circuit, so we'll have something to watch in these final minutes of qualifying here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Looks like those two really wanted to just let everybody else set their times before they got themselves out onto the track and tried to beat them. As I mentioned, Robert Stevens was a playoff driver last season in the Xfinity Championship, never really featured as far as winning the title goes, but the top 10 finish in that championship season for him was fantastic. And just look at him running around the top here. This is not his flat-out qualifying lap by any means. He's just setting himself up, and you'll see it again here, trying to use the minimal slope that there is to just get a run off a foot. And there we go. There you see him. Oh, he's turned around first, and there's the danger. He's tried to turn down steeply to use whatever banking there is here, and he's hit the throttle hard coming out of 4 to try and get the run. But you've got to be super careful of that, because even when you're on lap 2, your tyres aren't properly warm yet. And you've got to remember, when you're turning so severely and trying to accelerate so severely, you can very easily spin, and Robert Stevens will start at the back because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough goal, but and it's, those small mistakes can be costly, of course. Craycraft's out there at the moment trying to set a time. He has just been cut off in the end. So that is going to have a part to play in it here this evening as we get prepared for the race start. I mean, it's hard to put any sort of prediction down of how we're going to go tonight, how many green flag laps we're going to get as well. And if we are going to get any cautions too, as the grid's up on your screen. Is it actually going to... Oh, no, it's not going to grid up yet. Of course, warm-up session. Yeah, my brain's fried. I went to bed last night, checked the start time of the broadcast, realised that daylight savings has not ended yet for the US, and I was like, oh, I still got to get up an hour earlier than what I was expecting. But we work with it.
Although, should tell the audience that it's not exactly early in the morning, Well, not by most people's standards.
No,
anyway.
no, I'm not saying early, but earlier. It means I could have.
Yeah.
Stayed in and kept warm in my bed for that little bit longer, but still, I'm a night owl, as you are too.
Also, I know, yeah, it's coming up to midnight here, and I know the feeling like 11 a.m. is quite early, because I had to get up at that time this morning myself. So there we go. Also, don't try and tell me it's cold outside of your bed. That can't be true, because of the country in which you live. I will not be and the country in which I live, I will not be having you complaining about the weather.
Well, it can still be cold here, Ewan. It's not hot all the time.
Can it? Oh, right.
It's not like we are just constantly warm. Melbourne has 4 seasons in a day.
That's all I keep hearing. But, the reputation of Australia, especially here, is just that everywhere it's boiling all of the time. But really, what I've realised in my older years, what really I think they mean is Queensland.
Yes, Queensland or northern Western Australia. It's not always warm. We get especially in the southern parts, we get very cold and wet winters. It is not warm all the time.
Yeah, no, we forget because so much of Australia is not inhabited that it's so big, and indeed the most northerly point is quite a lot more northerly than the most southerly point, which is not that far. Well, it's quite a long way from the ice down there, but it's pretty icy. Pretty cold anyway.
You and somebody for the main somebody last year actually walked length from the lowest point to the tallest point in Australia. I think it's 6 to 7 months to walk the whole way. Yeah, they did it to raise money for a charity.
If you said they did it for fun, I would lose my mind even more. Just got bored.
If you don't have a car, fair enough. There is public transport.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to walk that 11 kilometres to the tippy top of Australia. A little bit too far.
It's not even the Australia's longest side. If you had to walk from most westerly to most easterly, it'd probably be even longer.
It'd be a lot longer, yes. Multiple people have done that though. There are people who have actually ran from east to west or west to east. And have run across the Nullarbor Highway, so yeah, it's a long way. But
do they go right through the middle where it's really hot, or do they stay by the sea?
No, so they go along the coastline. So they go along the major road. Here in Australia, we have the Princess Highway, which runs a complete lap of the country. So you could stay on that road and follow and go around the entire country. So they would go. So if they ran, say, from Perth to we'll say Sydney, they would run down along the coast and then follow the coastline around through Adelaide, South Australia into Victoria, up and around towards Melbourne, and then go up. Then they wouldn't go all the way down and around the coastline, because it takes a lot longer, so they follow the Princess Highway up the coastline as well as up to Sydney. So it's yeah, you wouldn't want to go through the city. You likely wouldn't end up on the other side if you went through the middle. So it would not be a good time.
No, it's like our country is a big city with a ring road. just all the way around the outside. Just go around the outside. It's like
Yeah, I mean, you know, stay out of the CBD. Get too busy. Well, the white flag is getting brought up at the moment here, so the warm-up's just about to come to an end as drivers just have a little sympathy incidents at the end of the warm-up, maybe trying to get it out of their system before the race start. It is.
Jim's complaining it was 48 Fahrenheit in Texas. Sorry to continue my weather complaining. I'm British. It's in our psyche. That's fine, Jim. That's quite warm even. Anyway, let's get on with the grid, shall we? And get on with this race, because we are just about to get underway for tonight. So let's bring up the grid. Jason Reeves has taken pole by just over a tenth in the end, ahead of Kevin Battering, with Bailey Brannan, big feature of the Xfinity Championship, in third, and Tyler Miller alongside. Cody Pruitt, another big feature of that Xfinity Championship, starts fifth at Taylor Strong. Jamin Marotta and Chris Hone are on row 4, ahead of Jack Anderson and Johnny Suggs are third. It's David Gallant and Trey Martin who are on row 6. Jesse James 13th, ahead of Nathan Merrifield, with William Hawker and Caleb Ross on row 8. Chad Schmitzberger is alongside David Gosnell on row 9, with Trevor Thomas and Joe Dyson rounding out the top 20. Robert Stevens didn't set a lap, neither did Braden Craycraft, Charles Rinker, Jacob Miller or Ryan Simmons. Some of those at the back, including Rinker and actually Trevor Thomas, haven't got on the grid, although they've not pulled away yet either. So
Rinker
hopefully they do.
Jesse James are our race controllers here this evening, I believe. So Rinker will be in there to apply penalties to drivers if they earn them. So that's what their job will be at the end of the road. But I would say, well, it's going to be an opening warm-up lap. I'd say we're probably going to get this is short track 2 warm-up laps to get them all gridded up, and then should be going green flag very shortly here at IRP. It's going to be fun though. Yeah,
it will be. We'll just hold on for a sec. Doesn't look like the pace car is going to pull in early and surprise us with just one pace lap, so they should go around twice here on this short track to get everybody up to speed, get everybody ready for the It's Corn 75, as we're being called tonight, here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. 75 being the amount of laps tonight. We are not going quite 75 miles, although we are going over 75 kilometres, so make of that where you will. It's not one of those circuits that's particularly lined up in terms of its distance, actually, so it's not very easy to name, but there we go. The amount of laps, 75 tonight. Just over a 20-second lap as well. Under green flag conditions, they'd be clipped off very, very quickly, but we get the feeling this is going to be a race of staying out of trouble and short track racing, beating and banging, as we know from these short tracks. So let's see what happens in the It's Corn 75 here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's the I2I Truck Series 4th round here for this season as we race towards the 1/3 mark next week. It's Jason Reeves who brings them off for 4, and the green flag waves from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Hot first lap, Ewan. Yep, big pile up, turn 3. Multiple cars in that one. I think Trey Martin had to take evasive action. Damon Marotta's in there too. Johnny Suggs, last week's race winner. A man who is not even 40 and is a grandfather. Can you believe it, Ewan? Cody Pruitt as well. Caleb Ross. They've all been involved. So it's a hotly contested incident early. And I think it was all started, it seems, with Damon Marotta ending up off track somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah. See, as they come into 3 and 4,
he makes
contact there.
Yeah. Just carries that little bit too much speed, and then Pruitt goes around Let's all help. Oh, well, fortunately for Suggs, he got off and towed a little bit there, so try and get going once again. It's a shame.
Hopefully the damage is not too bad, but of course they do have 2 fast repairs throughout this series, so they will be able to use that. Good evening to everybody watching along at home, by the way. I presume that's Zach Smathers, is it? Who says it's at a hockey game? I think he means ice hockey, because obviously the North Americans don't know how to name their sports properly, but I think he means ice hockey. Yeah, I don't know why he's watching this in that case, although there are a lot of breaks, so, you know, you can watch it in between the breaks, I suppose. You were talking, Hamish, to me before the show started about how this could be a feature of this race tonight. It could be a little bit stop-start because it is such a short and difficult track.
Yeah, I hope the iRacing safety truck's fueled up, Ewan, because it may be doing 75 laps of IRP quite possibly. So, but I mean, I think if we can get into the rhythm, so that there very likely was just, they've obviously been in practice qualifying all up, so their brake markers are probably a lot further forward than what they should be at the start of the race whilst everyone's in a pack. So I think as this race goes on, drivers will learn they need to brake just that little bit earlier, and they just need to pull it up a little bit and just try and settle into the race. I think the main difficulty tonight is if we do get into that long green flag run, we're inevitably going to get lap traffic, and that then is probably actually going to hit the reset button on that green flag run because lap traffic is going to have a big part to play. So yeah, that early incident in this race, it was bound to always happen. I think they actually did well to last to turn 3, and that moment there was probably good evidence of how difficult it actually is to avoid incidents here at IRP. If it was at a super speedway, well, maybe not a super speedway, but maybe just a regular speedway, it might not have been as bad, might not have been as many cars involved. Likely still would have been a caution, but you know, it's yeah, we may be here all night just doing this, Ewan, quite possibly.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. I mean, as I mentioned earlier on, just before we came to air, the pace laps are not actually that long here either, to be honest. And so the whole race could be an hour of pace laps. Let's hope it isn't. But that's the maximum. We're not going to hit the time limit tonight. Is the point. We've got 2 hours 5, so plenty of time for us in the It's Corn 75 from Indianapolis Raceway Park, and Jason Reeves is going to have a second go at a restart here. Now the first one. He got pole position tonight. He's got another chance, and for the first time tonight we'll get into the pump and dump restart zone, and we'll be back underway here at IRP. Off of 4, here we go. Reeves waits, and waits a bit longer this time in fact before he goes, and without quite as much of a lead as he had last time, enters turn 1 in the lead again.
So what'll be interesting tonight, Ewan, is that decide your lane rule. Brannon snuck it straight into the lead off of turn 2. In fact, Reeves is actually dropping hard here. He's already lost out to Miller. So how will that choose your cone rule work tonight? Which will be the more beneficial line? Who can benefit from those choices as Reeves goes off the road? There's a spin in the background too. It's Chad Schmidberger spun round. He must have forgotten the pickles on it. Round he's gone, so it's another caution. Brannon into the race lead. And the more cautions we get, Ewan, well, obviously the better the tyre wear is, but the more likely we can see drivers going no-stop strategy this evening.
Yeah, we were talking about this as well before the show. Like, you know, it's a short track, so I personally don't think they're going to do without a tyre change at any point in this race. I do find that a little bit implausible, but you just never know what these guys are capable of in terms of their fuel runs here. It could be a very, very long fuel and tyre run, I should say, here tonight. But as you said before, you know, it could be a case of these cautions are happening so early and so frequently that they might well decide, well, it is more beneficial for me to stay out from here until the finish, and that may be what they decide to do here. But for the moment, it is 2 cautions in a matter of laps. We barely completed that first lap there of that restart before we were back under caution again. So yeah, maybe the thought will be entering some drivers' heads already.
2 cautions for 7 laps, Ewan, and we're already at lap 10 of 75, so we've only been racing for 3 laps at this stage. I mean, we're hopeful, obviously, that we do get that good green flag run at some point, but this could also just be the nature of the track. And I think that's one thing it has to come down to is this is not only a test this season for new drivers coming in, it's also a test for, new tracks we could possibly use in future. IRP, obviously, if it's going to be a caution-heavy race where minor incidents are bringing out the caution flag, then that could then maybe say, well, we may not be able to run short tracks in future in this league. So it's I mean, I don't even know. I don't know how drivers are going to be able to position this or get themselves into a better position, I suppose. But time will tell how this race goes on and how drivers are going to perform across the race as well.
It's going to be very interesting as the pace truck brings him to. I thought he was coming in there, a pace truck driver, but not this time. Bailey Brannan will have his first time to have a go at a restart here. First time tonight for him in the Ford on the inside. Lights are back on the truck and go back out again. So will it be this time? Maybe there's going to be a restart, I wonder. Brannan, as I say, will be in control of the field in that case. Still, everybody on the lead lap, by the way. As you said, Charles Winker is not, it was on the grid there, but is not racing tonight for reasons you explained earlier. But 24 of them are, and still 24 of them on the lead lap at the front. Plenty of fast pairs being used already as well, but you do get 2 of them, so they will be used up. So 12 laps complete. Only 2 of them not under caution so far tonight in the Itzcorn 75. Into the pump and dump restart zone we go again, and it's Brannan who brings them there early in the zone. He goes for his first restart from the front of the day and brings us back under green.
So we can see as well, there's been some early gainers from these incidents tonight. Anderson already up 6. Oh, what was that? It was as I mentioned him. He's cracked like an egg. Oh my God, that's a massive one. Craycraft. Oh well, I spoke too soon earlier, Ewan. We have had a rollover, and it's Braden Craycraft who's done the old 360, and now we're back under caution once again. It's about to run through and mention the amount of that car is absolutely pickled. That thing is destroyed. I was about to mention how many gainers we've had tonight. Well, Simmons up 17, Miller up 13. They're the 2 biggest. Stevens now up 6. Gosnell up 6. Merrifield up 7. Gallant up 6 as well. So, yeah, that is a big one, and starting to see a bit of a trend here, Ewan. So,
yeah. Well, have you got anything on this weekend? What's the what should we talk about?
Broadcast 3 p.m. this afternoon, but
okay.
I think even doing caution laps would probably still be finished before then. There's a couple of black flags that have been handed out now. So Jesse James has got one, Gosnell's got one, Martin and Ross have also got one too, and I think Stevens just coming to pit lane to fix his meatball flag. So yeah, it really is just a survival rate at this point, Ewan. It is a survival rate. You mentioned that you don't know if the tyres are going to last the whole race. I suppose if we are under caution a fair bit, you're not actually using the tyres all that much, so they may be okay.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, you can argue they've done, what, 10 corners in anger so far, these tyres.
Yeah.
That's not quite how it works, but you know, it's not a lot. Once again, the choose rule being actioned there, so I think we're seeing an extra pace lap to accommodate for that, but maybe not. I mean, how do you think that is going to affect throughout this season and indeed in future if we choose to keep the choose rule here? I personally think it was a big talking point, especially initially when the NASCAR Cup Series brought it in, but actually at most circuits it becomes a bit of a non-event because you just sort of line up sort of either side, you know, anyway, and it doesn't really affect things too much. Is that the kind of conclusion you've been coming to as well?
Yeah, I prefer if we didn't have choose cone, because it can then create a lot of confusion amongst the train of where drivers are and where they should be, and I suppose the issue then is someone can pick the low line in second. Well, if someone picks the high line and they're in, so let's say all of the top 5 pick the low line, P6 can then choose the high line and go straight up to P2. I mean, yes, you are giving away positions for free if you want to choose the lane that you're in, but I think the drivers are good enough that they should be able to deal with whatever lane they're given because of their positioning. So that's my personal take on it. We'll see how it progresses throughout the season, how these drivers go. And as we head up towards the Pump Dump restart zone once again, it's green flag running once again in a moment as the lights look to go up at IRP. And Brannon leads us away. What a jump. Oh, and it's immediate. It is absolutely immediate on the start line. And it is an absolute chaos fest at IRP. Multiple cars involved. Well, there's the car park we talked about, Ewan, down at turn 1. And I hope they paid their parking fee. And I hope they kept their ticket because they're going to have to cash it out at the end of the race.
Well, that is another incident on the opening lap of a restart here, and some drivers are going to be running out of faster pairs already in the first third of this race tonight. The driver on the outside there behind Brannon just didn't go anywhere. It was almost like what sometimes you see on a standing start when somebody stalls or just doesn't get going for whatever reason. This is a rolling start. Somebody just doesn't get going and causes carnage behind them. It's our 4th caution of the day already. We have not seen a green flag lap completed in its entirety yet. That is how messy the opening part of this race has been tonight.
I don't understand how that can happen here. We're on a race start. I mean, it is a restart scenario. How are you drilling a car on the start-finish line? How does that happen? How does someone not have the patience to take their time and again, be patient? Watch this back. It was the 75 of Jason Reeves that really causes this carnage here. So that's right on board with him. So Brannon goes. What? That car in front of him just stops.
Yeah.
Why has he stopped?
Yeah, and to be fair to Reeves, he didn't have any
he didn't have anywhere to go. But it's like Brannon goes, and then the car in P2 or 3, I think it's Kevin Battering, he just stops.
Does he sort of miss a gear here? That's very strange. I'm trying to see from the dash whether something's going wrong there.
Yeah, let's go back to the restart. So
let's just listen to this.
Oh, he missed the gear. That's like his shifter didn't work at all. It just revs out. He puts the clutch in to try and change up, and it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I suspected it would be something like that.
Yeah.
As you point out, there would be no reason to slow down, stop like that under normal circumstances. So yeah, that had to be the reason, and it was. So I think we can chalk that one down as more unfortunate, actually.
Yeah,
maybe
I would as well. Apologies to Jason Reeves. From the initial view, it did just look like he just drilled him, but realistically, he had no other choice. He had nowhere to go. I mean, it's either you drill the car in front of you, which he didn't have enough time to even react. If he had reacted and turned hard left, he was going to collect the car on his inside as well. It's that's the unfortunate situation of being on the high line. You have got nowhere to go if something happens in front of you. That's beneficial, obviously, for the front 2 cars because they don't have anyone in front of them, so they're not going to end up in a situation like that. But yeah, it's just an unfortunate one. So hopefully we can get some good green flag running once again. Try and complete a full lap of IRP.
Nice. See if we can do it as we come round to the pump and dump restart zone again. It's corn 75 from Indianapolis Raceway Park, I should say. And Brannon again has control, and that outside is starting to work for him really well. He's getting an even better jump from there, and he leads it towards turn 1 by a long way. We approach 1/3 distance already.
It was a great restart once again from Brannon. I mean, he has got that outside line locked and loaded. I mean, proving again that his restarts are pretty impeccable. He proved it last season in the Xfinity Championship. We've finally completed a green flag lap. Only took us 25 attempts. But it seems that are we possibly in our groove now finally? Oh, no, we're not. It was Craycraft and Anderson have come together on the back straight.
Yeah, spoke too soon, but a new record of a lap and a half or so before an incident.
So how's this happened? So Anderson's on
Side
the
by
inside.
side. Displays Anderson here to Craycraft and doesn't.
No.
And they both get caught up.
Yeah, he's just absolutely poor. So I think there is he either hasn't realised that he's still on the outside and he's come across, or again, he's just come that little bit too far over and made contact. So, I mean, although I do ask Ewan, last season when an incident happened within a lap, we were getting single file restarts. It hasn't been occurring, obviously, because of the choose your lane, I would assume.
I don't remember that from last season, I must admit. I know I missed 1 or 2 rounds, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, if there was a caution within 1 or 2 laps of the green flag, it would go to a single file restart to try and stop another caution getting thrown.
I mean, I think that this is absolutely the time to be starting to use it now. We've seen 5 runs of less than 2 laps. I think that would be worth a go. But this track's so hard, even on your own. I'm not sure how much difference it would make.
I think it would at least get us a couple more green laps, because I think the problem is drivers are still riding side by side, off restarts. People who are we've already seen the effect of the 2 lanes of somebody making a mistake in front of you. You got nowhere to go. At least if it's single file, you can dart either side of them and get out of the way. So you know that then's obviously raising some difficulty for some drivers, it seems. But yeah, I think single file restart, you know, with the amount of cautions we've had, would actually tidy it up at least a little bit for us. There's not much we can do when there's been a couple of green flag laps, but at least if it's single file, it will tighten up the restarts.
Yep. But no, we're not going for that, looks like, as the lights go off on top of the pace car. See, again, it's just not really making much of a difference, is it, the choose rule, to be honest?
No.
But you know, you've got to try these things. Sure. We'll go and see what's what. But Brannon's going to have another chance. I guess the interesting thing is when you get to the front row, to be fair, and I think that always was a rule, wasn't it? You could choose whether you wanted inside or outside when you're the race leader. But Brannon, it's a little bit interesting to see the differences in what he's choosing here, to be fair. So maybe it's working in a sense. And we're just moaning. Let's see. Into the pump and up restart zone we go again. And the 5th caution will draw to a close in the hit score 75 from Indianapolis Raceway Park. We're back under green, lap 30. Let's see if we can get more than 2 laps of green flag running here.
Oh, they're getting a bit tight up there. Strong just got a big wiggle off of turn 2. And that's going to give the opportunity to Simmons in behind to try and sneak up onto him as well.
Oh, again, Strong and Simmons very nearly hitting each other, and for a 3rd time off of 4. Really close.
Are they maybe just struggling with how tight some of these corners are, you, and in fact how tight the circuit is as well? I mean, it really only allows for 2 wide, doesn't allow for 3 wide. And are they struggling with that? Is that what the issue is becoming tonight? That is showing the struggle. We've completed 2 green flag laps, 2 green flag laps. Let me get that out properly. I can say that on the word. I won't explain why I can, but I can.
I wouldn't though.
No, I'm not going to. Trey Martin, Tyler Miller battling away here further back as well. So we've tightened the screws just a little bit, it seems. And now we're getting some good racing, which is great to see. We're at the halfway point, just about. So drivers have done well though, just to reset themselves. Tell you what, if you're Jesse James, owner of the Pump and Dump series, you're getting your money's worth tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of those, but not on this run for the moment. We've got a few laps together, and that's a great thing. On your point, by the way, about this circuit being tight, obviously the actual boundaries of the track are quite wide, but the racing line itself is actually very narrow. I that's what brought out the previous caution, by the way, to go back to that between Craftsman and
Craftsman.
Anderson. It was Anderson, yeah. So it's just a case, wasn't it, of just not quite being able to leave the room on the outside because it's super narrow on the racing line. And we do have another caution. A longest green flag run of the night draws to a close, and again it's 3 and 4.
Yeah, Stevens spun round. Pruitt's just in behind him as well, so this will be interesting to see what's actually caused this. I think it might have been Trevor Thomas going off track that has actually brought this out. So something has occurred up ahead. Oh, it might actually just be Pruitt and Stevens having a bit of... big bingle. Big bingle. Stevens got drilled by Pruitt, and the 75 finished the job. So I suppose the pace car driver has had a small opportunity to go to get a bathroom break there, Ewan, before heading back out on track.
Yeah. I mean, he's been very busy tonight. That's the pace car driver. Where's Brannan found himself here? He's actually got a...
Yeah, he has to actually wait for the pace car to catch up to him. They were too busy giving it a pit stop. And it's hasn't gone out nearly as fast. What do you mean? I've got to go back out there again? I can't put this thing in park? That's the safety car job for you.
I think, you know, what you said earlier, by the way, about no stops, all of a sudden is making absolute sense, because even though, you know, the tyres will be feeling a little bit worse for wear after 75 laps, you just don't have the long green flag runs to make up the track position again, do you? So making the no, and we saw this towards the end of runs in a lot of races in the Xfinity Championship, to be fair. He wanted to stop sort of midway, because the races, especially early on in the season, were a little bit longer. He wanted to stop sort of midway through the race, but in the last 30, 20 laps or so, you didn't really want to stop because the green flag runs just weren't long enough for you to get track position. And I think on a race long scale, I think that is happening tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is the sort of look at, you know, look at the past 3 races, look at how they've gone, certain strategies that have played out, and then you compare that to normal strategies of short tracks. The normal incidents that can happen at short tracks we've seen tonight, obviously with such a large field, drivers in here apparently, from what we've seen, you and I think we can surmise, they haven't got much short track experience, quite possibly. So they're bringing a speedway mentality to a raceway park, and those two don't always mix. It's a bit like oil and water. You can come in trying to go foot to the floor. It's not always going to work though, but we have seen glimpses of some great racing between drivers. We've seen some glimpses of some great battles as well. How can we best tighten up the screws though and get this thing into a more regular state of affairs? I think the first thing we've got to do is we've got to try and this might be in future rounds if we have more short tracks on the calendar. Let's try and implement single file restarts, because that is one thing that will tighten it up. Actually, we go to North Wilkesboro in 2 weeks' time. So by North Wilkesboro, let's tighten those screws up. Let's get the single file restarts ready for incidents that happen within a lap of going green or within 2 laps of going green, since it's a short track. That's at least a step in the right direction, I think, of actually trying to get some good green flag running here at the short tracks.
Yeah, I think that would be. Let's see what we decide to do though the next 2 weeks, of course. Between now and then, Vegas, same time, same place next week, as the pump and dump restart zone again is bossed by Bailey Brannan, who's getting good at these. We're over halfway in the It's Gone 75, and he's been leading every restart but the very first one when Jason Reeves was at the front, although Reeves himself now is a lap down, by the way, such as the incidents of the race so far.
Real gaggle of cars just starting to scramble about in the mid-pack once again, so they're trying to go for moves early to get up any positions they can, and I suppose this is now the kind of mentality drivers having to bring. Pick up any positions you can, expecting another caution to get thrown, because you don't want to end up going backwards and then losing opportunity to move your way forward. The driver that's done well to do this tonight, Ryan Simmons in P3, up 22 positions already here, Ewan. So he's taken advantage of this and he's made the most of it. And he's up in a podium position right now, and he'll be up there thinking, hey, I don't mind that we're going caution after caution, because I'm not losing positions and I'm going to finish on the podium if that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. He's moving forward so far. It's Ryan Simmons, 22, although shout out worth to Jacob Miller as well, who's up 17 so far in 7th, as you just saw there. But this is where the group is really being created, just in the background. Look at that in the background. it is all happening back here, isn't it? So coming to 1 and 2 again. It's the 25 car just looking down the inside there. Nathan Merrifield and Trey Martin. Jacob Miller just ahead of these guys, rather creating this group really, as the 39 of Martin had a little look down the inside of Miller there in towards 3 and 4. Nothing doing again. Just 31 to go tonight from IRP.
Well, Brannan is in good control of the field at the front here. Strong P2 at the moment. We mentioned Simmons up 22 in the, I think it's a Scooby-Doo car. It's good to see. Talmadega behind him. Kevin Battering inside the top 5 as well. Anderson's still up there inside of the top 10 too, which is good to see after that incident earlier on. But there's big moves in this pack of cars. They're almost trying to go 4 wide into turn 1. It's never going to work, Ewan. They somehow managed to situate themselves properly and settle back in again. But you have a feeling that there is just this little spark that can really arc us up and could end up in fireworks back here.
Oh, and they've survived so far. Brilliant driving for them to survive, but this is a ticking time bomb at the moment. 3 wide again, so close to contact again. And a lot of credit there has to go to the 39 of Trey Martin, who almost brought himself to a stop through turn 1 there because he was getting tight in the middle. He was going straight into the outside in the 15 car. And if he wasn't careful of Johnny Suggs III, who's looking a bit worse for wear at the moment, by the way, but he just stopped himself from getting into the 15, and he keeps us green. This is the kind of racing you want to see. This is the kind of development you want to see, even throughout a race distance. This is the green flag running you want to see at IRP, and better late than never. We're getting it in the middle third of this race.
3 wide further back coming into turn 2, 3, or turn 3, turn 1, 2. Like the 3 wide through there as Chris Hone has just gone off. And it looks to be on his own. The 7th caution of the race. I mean, that proves already we can get good racing at a short track. It can happen. Because that racing was incredible. But, he rode up high in the Frank's Red Hot livery. And then it just drops him back down into the wall. So he's done it on his own. He's caught another driver up in that one. But he'll have to bring it into pit lane and get it fixed up with a possible blown engine on board that car. But yeah, I think the rate at which we're going, Ewan, and the route we're going to is saying to me a no-stop race, but Taylor Strong's coming in.
Wow.
So I wonder, is it going to be a tyre stop to try and get an advantage? But the difficulty now for Taylor is he is going to get buried in the field, and if we continue on this trajectory, he is going to have nowhere to go, and he could get caught up in an incident.
Yeah, he'll be about 10th, I think. We'll see where he actually is when he exits the pit lane here, and we'll see indeed if he decides to take on some tyres, and he does indeed. It'll be all 4, you'd imagine. Interesting call, but this could really start to benefit these guys because they have now started to put a few laps on those tyres now. If you accumulate all the heat cycles they've gone through, it's certainly becoming something. And so out of the pit lane comes, everybody who's just stopped. Of course, leading them, Taylor Strong. And he will be 10th, exactly 10th. Everybody behind him takes tyres. The top 9 do not. And I think Bailey Brannan and the rest of them out front are going to play a track position game. Having said that, Kevin Battering came in 30 laps ago for some new tyres as well. So maybe his ride through the field can be linked to that as well.
So did Ross and Trevor Thomas. So those 3 guys have got fresher tyres. Anderson's been in twice. I'm unsure if he took tyres on his first stop. Second stop would have been just to get the car fixed. Sure, but we know for certain that Brannan Simmons, Tyler Miller, Jacob Miller, and Joe Dyson, none of them have taken tyres thus far. And to give the update on the vacuum tonight, he sucked up 9 positions in this race, which is good to see. See if he can make a 10 to do off this restart, but he is going to be starting right behind Trey Martin, who has got some fresh rubber on board his car.
Is that the origin of that vacuum nickname, though, by the way?
Well, the fact that his name is Dyson, yes.
Oh, right. I thought you meant that he sucks up positions. But no, Dyson.
No, it's literally the fact that his name is Dyson, and I was referencing the fact that his name is Dyson so I can make references to vacuums. Housewives. The housewives out there that are watching would have appreciated that one. Ewan. I know that Joe's does. Okay. A real sucker for those jokes.
this could go on. There's so many opportunities you've just opened up.
I know.
So I'll enjoy those in the next 10 weeks. Meantime, at the final corner, pumping up restart zone again. And the Itzcorn 75 gets back under green. Lap 52 begins. We're in the final third of the race, and Benny Brannan nails another restart from the front.
Yeah, it looks like.
Oh, and we're straight back under caution.
Yeah, we are straight back under caution. Trevor Thomas has gone round in the Haru Urara car. Whatever that means, I don't know. No idea.
Could be really offensive in a language we don't know.
It could be. Who knows? He's just absolutely just cackling at us right now. Oh, it wasn't even his own fault. It was Chad Schmidberger. So we saw him forget the pickles earlier. Oh, actually, no, that's a separate one. Who was it then that's hit Trevor?
I was too busy cackling it.
I think it was it's the 51 of David Gosnell.
Let's see here. It's another pre-turn
Oh,
one. Oh,
no.
is he missed a gear as well?
No, I think he's either missed a gear and then he's been hit.
He looked like he got hit for some reason.
Yeah, we're just going to pull the sneaky game of just playing the reverse button. He was. Oh my God, he was buried by the 11. So Taylor Strong, who's been in a pit lane, who hasn't had to restart behind any other car, he's gone inside of him and then drilled him. I'm sorry, but Taylor Strong, that is just. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like,
You said
you just
that going back there would create danger. But
are you just going to drive? Well, but it's creating danger for other people apparently, from what we've just seen. I mean, it's a bold strategy to come in for tyres and then drive through another car to make your way forward. But I don't know. I mean, that there, race control will look at it, I'm sure. But from what we've just seen, he has just absolutely just drilled it. That's dropped someone else down the order and taken them into pit lane. I mean, it's unfortunate.
yeah, it is. That is a real shame. You know, it's all back to that sort of aggression that you feel you need to come with as well when you're on new tyres in a situation like that. You know, there's no getting away from the fact that Taylor Strong is back in the pack and needs to make up positions quickly and whatever. But see, there's a way of doing it, and that you've got to sort of temper that aggression with also, as it looks like we have gone to single file restarts here, by the way.
Good.
This
This will hopefully tidy it up a little bit for us, Ewan, as well. So,
if I'm honest, I would have either liked to see it 6 cautions ago or not at all, to be honest with you. But
yeah.
Maybe I'm being too picky now. I'm gonna come across as miserable soon, so I'm not gonna complain or anything. 8th caution will draw to a close, and the Itzcorn 75 will get back underway with a single file restart, the first of the night. Into the pump and restart zone we go again. And this could help Taylor Strong, actually, weirdly. After all of that, the race goes green again, and he starts from 7th. Brannan starts from the front, and obviously this restart a little bit easier to achieve from the very front. Simmons on the back of him, putting that pressure on, not off of 2, or trying to. Brannan has shown his dominance. He's going to look to do that for the next 18 laps and bring this one home.
So Strong's trying to make moves forward now that he's obviously got those fresh tyres on board, but we have a feeling that once race control looks at that incident that he had, he may have a penalty coming his way, whether it's a drive-through, whether it's an EOL, or a post-race points penalty. There could be something coming the way of Taylor Strong. I would say it's probably 60-40 at the moment from what we've seen, Ewan. You know, the very few angles we saw, I'd say it is 60-40% chance of him getting a penalty from that one, but we'll let race control decide. Obviously, it's their job to look into things and to apply it. It's one of the toughest jobs in racing, as Damon Marotta has gone round in the background on the main straight.
No caution.
No caution. So obviously he hasn't stopped on the actual road, and I think he may have been the only one who was actually in the wall. So that's the only explanation I could give you, as Anderson and Simmons now run side by side into turn 1-2. I have a feeling that Anderson may have taken tyres on his first stop, Ewan, because he's got much better grip than Simmons does, and he made that almost look easy.
he has made 2 stops, so I can't see his previous one, but the most recent one was only 3 seconds long. So but he does look like a man with better tyres on at the moment, doesn't he? As Battering goes down the inside, he certainly does have better tyres on, as does Taylor Strong, who's going to try and follow through down the inside of turn 1. Unfortunately, Simmons is a bit of a sitting duck at the moment, and that's a lap car, by the way, in there as well. Oh, loose, coming off of 2. This is very, very busy here. That's the 97 in there at the moment, by the way. David Gallant, who's 3 laps down.
So Strong forced on the outside. Oh, contact. Oh. He somehow kept it in. Somehow stayed in position, but Strong is a man who is starting to chase down the race leader of Brannan. He's got 13 laps to get up there, but if we have got bulk cautions on offer at the end of the race, there's that there with Simmons into the wall. He's kept it going though,
really
Ewan.
Struggling now.
Yeah, he is. How about a Brannan's tyres? Because he looks to be under pressure here from Anderson.
Massive pressure with 12 to go. Jack Anderson is right behind Bailey Brannan for this race lead, and the 58 gets right to the rear corner there of Bailey Brannan, who just has to give him a little bit of room on the inside. 11 to go for IRP, and the race leader, who's led the whole race pretty much, Bailey Brannan, under massive pressure now from a driver who does look like he's on newer tyres. He looks to the inside as Jack Anderson. He can't quite get it done. Into 3 and 4 again. He's further alongside this time, edging closer and closer to the lead, but Brannan resists again.
Somehow, some way, he's surviving on these old, worn-out tyres. And Anderson is just trying to use the grip advantage if he can. He wants an inside run on Brannan, but he can't quite get the pace up. And the problem now is as well, it's getting Battering into this battle too as the caution is thrown. It's Cody Pruitt and Jacob Miller. I think, David Gallant's gone round. He was up there with the front runners. So I wonder if there's been, a little bit of sauciness involved. He was with the 25. He was on the lead lap, Nathan Merrifield, and Merrifield's just dumped him.
Yeah. Well, and did Pruitt get involved in this as well? He was definitely dropping down the field at some point. It was Pruitt. Maybe he was just slowing down quicker than the others around him. Guess. So, ninth caution of the night, and this will now bring us into territory of, 5 to go or less. There's only one green-white checker attempt, by the way, so I reckon there's only time for one more caution after this one, and we're into the overtime attempts, and of those there is only one. So this race is going to draw to a close very, very quickly, and Brannan could have just the 1 or 2 restarts to survive here, but the way he was looking towards the end of that run there, you'd not be sure he's going to survive.
What Brannan will be hoping for now is we do get one more caution. We go restart, we get another caution, he can go green-white checkered, and then he just sneaks onto the win. That's what he'd be hoping for. And that's probably the lifeline that he needs right now. He needs this race to go double-digit cautions to keep him in opportunity for a race win. We'll see how this pans out for him in the final few laps. That was a great run, though, that we just had under green. I mean, some fantastic battling. Massive pressure on board Brannan's car. He's trying to no-stop this race. He's the only car yet to come through pit lane. But how heavy is the crown on those tyres? How worn out are they? Can he survive the pressure from behind? Because we assume that Anderson's on tyres. We know that Battering, Strong, and everyone else in behind are on fresh rubber as well. How bad is the grip on board that 6 car right now? And how hard is it going to be to survive these restarts?
I think Brannan is going to get eaten up here, to be honest. I think Anderson has got better grip at the moment. Even better grip than him. Taylor's Strong. Trey Martin even in 6th position. But as you said, he's the only driver who hasn't stopped in this race. I think that tells a story, and we can see actually with the way that he was being closed on there. The choose rule is back in action, I think, based on the way they would. Or is it?
No, they're single file. I was going to say if it was a double file restart, that would actually probably hurt Brannan more than a single file, because it gives the person who chooses to go alongside him obviously a free run forward, and they can use their better grip to get past him. So the single file is actually helping him right now. If it was double file,
if he chooses,
if he chooses wrong. So
yeah, if he chooses the outside, he gets dived down the inside, so he can't really win there. But yeah, single file, and he's okay as he is right now. Of course, in the it's gone 75. There's just 5 to go into the pump and dump restart zone for what could be the final time. Can Bailey Brannan hang on for the last 5 laps?
In through 1 and 2
caution.
we go. It's a big caution. Multiple
Overtime.
cars, overtime. Yeah, we are going to go overtime. So I don't even know why that was called then. Who ended up... No one stopped, so I'd assume it was a slide on the actual corner that's then pulled the caution flag out.
Yeah,
This is
slide
what
it would have been.
This is what Brannan will be hoping for. This is what he wants. He wants a caution now. Go green, white, checkered, and either get to the end of the race or get a final caution and finish under the pace car. That's what Brannan wants, because he'll get the win for free then.
Yeah, that would very much help. And the amount of incidents we've seen into turn 1 tonight, by the way, on the restart, I mean, that's at least 3 we've seen where the caution's been thrown at turn 1 or earlier in the restart. You know, you wouldn't put it past him at all that is going to be the scenario. And you'd absolutely want to be the leader in this situation.
Now, I doubt they're going to. What if they do just throw in the spicy one of, let's go 2 wide on the restart?
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
I think Brannan would feel a bit aggrieved at that.
He would. The fact
honest.
that we've gone single file the last 3, he would,
Yeah.
or the last 2, he'd feel kind of, you know, just that little bit porked. So, hopefully...
So I can't see that happening, to be honest.
No, I
but,
can't. I'd say we're going to go single file. Arguably, though, the single file restarts have been that little bit cleaner, based on at least the severity of the incidents, we'll say. But we've gotten away relatively cleanly with the single file restart. So again, a learning curve. It's a learning season. It's a recruitment season for drivers. So I don't mind them toying with the idea of trying different things. You don't know if it's going to work if you don't try it. So, and everyone will have a different opinion about the things that they are trialing and whether they work or whether they don't.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what this season is all about, after all. Don't forget, next week we'll be live again from Las Vegas on November 8th. Don't forget that daylight savings comes to an end in America, so if you're not, then... and some parts of Canada. So if you're not in those parts of the world, then do watch out for next week's broadcast going live an hour earlier or later, because we wouldn't want you to be caught out, because you'd only be tuning in now and you'd miss the whole race if you're an hour late. So,
yeah, that would have been me waking up, not checking the time you in today. I would have woken up. Oh my God, the race has already started. Wait, it's nearly over? Okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Time zone change, but yes.
So don't do that next week.
No, well, I know it is ending tonight, so we're fine. So
there we go.
It'll be good.
So here we go. Into overtime we go. It's Rinka Reconstruction Remodeling overtime here from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Into the pump and dump restart zone for the final time. 2 laps to go to decide a winner. Is it going to be Brannan? Is it going to be one of the chasers from behind as they come into turn 1 for the first time? No spins this time into turn 1, at least not in the same manner the previous caution came out. Battering has a look on Anderson into 3 and 4. Anderson, though, has got his speed together. Are we going to get to the white flag in time? It looks like we are. 1 to go, and that was a bit wide from Brannan. Oh, he's going to look down the inside. Here is Anderson. Not quite on this occasion. He's going to have to do it into 3 and 4 if he wants to win from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Out of 4, he's going to have to get a good run if he's going to win this race, because Brannan holds firm on the outside. Jack Anderson can't get down the inside soon enough. He's just about alongside. It's going to be a run to the line. Oh, he might have stolen near the end. And Brannan went wide in the final corner, and Jack Anderson steals it by mere thousandths of a second. It's a huge upset. Brannan has controlled this race from the very early laps, and he looked like he was controlling overtime as well. But he's made a mistake in the final corner of the race, and Jack Anderson has stolen it by the barest of margins.
Well, he's immediately gone into the broadcast waiting room. Oh my God, I'm just going to quickly send a message to Race Control just to ask them if they can get a photo of that finish for us. Because we've got to try and show it somehow.
Wow, that was incredible. Rinker Reconstruction Remodeling Overtime delivers here from Indianapolis Raceway Park, and it's Jack Anderson who takes it. He does the donuts on the front stretch. And how would you feel if you're Brandon in this situation? Well, he's got in the waiting room as well, to be fair. We'll have a chat with both of them in a second, but wow, what a contrast of emotions between those two. What an upset. Brandon had controlled that race, and it's the final corner which undoes him.
That there is one of the closest finishes I think we could have ever seen. That was incredible. You know, I'll try and get a... Actually, you know what? Here we go. We got the finish line here. So this will show us when they actually do get to the finish line. So I'm going to have to try and stop this right as they get there.
I mean, I can't believe Brandon slid wide like that in the final corner. Absolutely can't believe it. Here it is. How does he manage that? Goodness me, that is close.
That is the most cars end we could have ever had to that. Like, he had the tongue out. He was full Lightning McQueen spec on the end of that race. My God.
I mean, yeah, thank God this is the modern day, because back in the day, that's not the naked eye is not seeing the winner there. No. That is far too close to call.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. What an end to that race. I've got to find that one of our longer green flag runs for us to at least have some B-roll happening, because what
by
an
the way,
end.
Just before we do that, by the way, can we see the last the overtime from Anderson's on board, just to see how it actually happened with Brandon sort of moving up there through 3 and 4 there, especially very late on in that in that run of overtime.
We can
this
do
is
this.
them.
So this is the white flag.
Right.
So this is
off of 2.
Yeah, off of 2, down towards 3 and 4.
How does this happen? I mean,
Oh,
he
apexed him. He actually just apexed him. He road coursed his way to a win.
That is unbelievable. Well, let's have a look at the race results, and we will chat in a moment to the man of the moment, Jack Anderson. Is this his first win on an oval in this series?
Yes, it is.
It is.
It is. He's done more than what Shane Van Gisbergen has done. He's actually won on an oval.
He's a better Australasian than Shane Van Gisbergen. So there we go. Jack Anderson wins 2,000ths of a second, it's going to be called at the very end, with Bailey Brannon on the unfortunate side of that. Kevin Battering gets a good result. Top 3 for him at Taylor Strong and Caleb Ross. Top 5. Trey Martin finished where he started that overtime, with Tyler Miller in 7th. Johnny Suggs the 3rd, only gains a couple of places tonight to 8th, ahead of Nathan Merrifield and Cody Pruitt, who round out the top 10. Jesse James 11th, ahead of Damon Marotta, with Jacob Miller. Brian Simmons, who was running up very close to the front early, and Chad Schmidberger rounding out the top 15. Joe Dyson ends up 16th ahead of Chris Hone. Trevor Thomas 18th. 19th went to Robert Stevens. He was on the lead lap as well, as was Jason Reeves, I think, although Jason Reeves might actually have been 1 lap down. And also off the lead lap, David Austin Gosnell, David Gallant, William Hawker and Braden Craycraft, who retired halfway through that race, unfortunately for him. So let's have a chat then, shall we, to Jack Anderson, who wins tonight from IRP. Jack, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How much do you be feeling after that one? What a great finish that was.
It was amazing. I was talking to Bailey in the game chat, or in Discord, saying, "I'm coming for you, Bailey," and he didn't believe me. So it was a great race. Loved it. I went to the back, I think, twice, and made my way back through the pack. So really happy with that result.
How did that happen from your perspective? I must admit, I was very surprised to see you just drive underneath him through turn 4 there to the line. He hadn't done that in the previous run at any stage, and you just managed to do it when it mattered at the end there.
Yeah, I just thought I'd better raw dog it, lick the stamp, and send it. So thought I'd give it a little extra. Saw him go a little bit wide, and thought, why not?
Well, Raw Dogging has won out again on this occasion, It seems like. Your first win on an oval, as we put on the graphic up there. How much is that pleasing to you? Because you have won in this series in the past, but how pleasing and how different is it that it's on a short track oval like this?
I love short tracks, so I'm glad to get a win here. I think in the series that Hamish and I run, I think I've only ever won on a short track as well. So yeah, it's great to win on an oval against the caliber of drivers that are in this series. So
It's ironic.
Well,
He
congrats again.
he loses on road courses, but he wins on short tracks in our series. So put other Australians up against him, and he doesn't have the road course dominance. Jackals, congratulations on your win. I mean, do you know what the exact gap was at the end? Because we do.
it was less than a splitter, I can tell you that much.
It was 0.02 of a second. Mr. Rinker did send me a photo of it. I'm going to have to just load it up here and show everyone, because it was as tight as it could have ever been. Yeah, we'll just put it there. That's fine. That'll do. So this is how close it was on the line.
Yeah.
That was the finish.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't
it's
get
ridiculous.
it any closer. You legit
That's less than
pulled.
a cigarette paper in that.
You pulled the Lightning McQueen tongue out to get to the California top 3 race. I mean, it's insane.
I even did the go-kart and duck your head under the steering wheel, just to get that little extra aero.
Of course you did. I'm sure you were leaning into every single corner as you were turning there like you're playing on a game controller. But no, congratulations on your first ever win. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and have a chat to Bailey in a moment?
I just want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Thank Trey and the rest of I2I Motorsport for putting on the league. And just want to give a shout out to Paul Taskin. That win goes out to you.
Shout out Paul Taskin. Thanks so much, Jack. Best luck next week out of Vegas, and we look forward to seeing if you can get another win on an oval before this series is done.
All right, thanks, Ewan. Thanks, Bubby.
Bye, Jack.
Jack Anderson. Winner tonight from IRP. Never serious. Bailey Brannan can join us now as well on the other side of that equation. Obviously, Bailey, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How are you feeling at the end of that one? You must be a little bit tinged with disappointment to have not won after dominating for so long there.
I honestly can't even be mad about it. I thought I had him on the exit of 4 there, but Jack just had better tires, and I mean he was sending it, and I'm happy for him. And honestly, I didn't really want to see a truck with that ugly scheme on it in victory lane.
Well,
so I can't really be too upset with it.
Just like Florida State, Bailey, you've just absolutely choked to that win.
Yeah. Pretty much. I kind of regret not taking tires earlier in the race, but I figured if we were gonna just it was gonna be a caution fest and a couple of green flag runs, I would just stay out front and not give up my track position, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually about that. The call for you to consistently stay out through so many options. Obviously, I get towards the end where you wouldn't come in, but if you had your time again, would you not come in for tyres at some stage tonight?
Maybe not, because part of the reason my tires were so bad towards the end there is because I would get so far out and I was just using up my stuff, just building a lead on the pack, and then they'd catch me. And I think if that was my strategy, then yes. If I was going to push as hard as I could the entire time, I probably would have pitted somewhere with maybe 30 laps to go. But if I would have been more conservative with my tires during green flag runs, I probably would have just stayed out.
Well, it was a great race, and glad that you were a part of it towards the end there, especially. Has anybody like to shout out or anything before we let you go?
Oh man, I'll shout out Jack for keeping it clean there. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Me and him were in a Discord call together, and he told me on that last restart, he was like, "Bailey, I'm coming," and I was like, "Okay." It's like, you got fresher tires, so you could probably do it. But he and like I said, just shout out to him, and anybody that was watching me tonight.
Well, I'd say thanks for being a part of such a great battle. A good show for us as well, and I'm sure we'll see you again in the coming weeks. Hopefully next week at Vegas. Thanks very much for chatting to us.
Thank you guys.
Thanks very much, Bailey Brannan. Second tonight on the losing side of a great battle, but as you said there, Hamish wasn't even mad about it. I mean, has taken it very well, as you'd expect, and I think he's almost more pleased than Jack is that Jack got to the win there in the end. Maybe that's overstretching it a little bit, but that was a great finish. Great race to watch at the end there, especially once we got some nice green flag runs together, short as they were.
Jack's a very reserved man, Ewan. I've known him for coming up on 10 years, and he's very reserved. Unless it's not on broadcast, then he can be a bit celebratory, we'll say. But even in celebrations, he's reserved as well. But no, I mean it's taken a little while for him to get his first win, but on an oval. But he's done well tonight, and I suppose now we can't call him a one-trick pony. That he can only win on a road course because he's just won on an oval. So it's good to see for him, and he becomes our first ever non-American race winner on an oval as well. So that's a top-level effort there from Jack. But next week at Vegas is going to be a whole different beast, Ewan. It is going to be one hell of a race for us to call. I expect it to be fast-paced. I expect there to be big incidents, quite possibly, and maybe another rollover, because we've had one every single week up to this point. So it'd feel wrong if we didn't at this stage of the season. But 50 laps at Vegas, that's going to be one hell of a night for us.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And looking forward to it again. Make sure you join us, of course, for that. We'll be live every week pretty much on Saturdays between now and the Saturday before Christmas, which we'll not be here for, and we'll be back very, very soon after the new year as well. So racing for you to enjoy all the way to the start of February in this I2I Truck Series here this season. And we very much look forward to bringing it to you. As you say, from Las Vegas next week. We'll be back live, same time, same place here on the MotorMouth Broadcasting YouTube channel. So make sure you join us for that. And hopefully we'll be joined by Jim Cunningham as well for the foreseeable as well. But tonight, between myself, Ewan O'Leary and Hamish Munro in the commentary box. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in, chatting along with us as always. And congratulations again to the winner, Jack Anderson, tonight from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Make sure you come back again in 7 days' time. We look forward to seeing you then. But for now, from all of us here at IRP, it's goodbye for now.